All right, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Minetest Gameplay of Sorts. Yeah. And today is going to be a very different kind of episode. I built a bridge. Yes, I did. Yeah, it's a bridges mod. And I'll show you what I'm testing as in terms of ambience, which you kind of heard, and the weather mods. Yeah, and already my computer is going nuts. But to start off, in the last episode, I asked a question, if anybody knew where the term badgers, we no need no stinking badgers came from. And a lot of people, or a couple of people said that it was Blazing Saddles. Well, it wasn't the first. No. Apparently, Alfonso Bedoya was an actor in an old Humphrey Bogart movie, and he was a federale, and he said, because Humphrey Bogart said, where's your badges? And he said, badges? We don't need no stinking badges. Yeah. And it wasn't the only movie to use that, and a lot of other movies had parlayed it into the saying that I said when I had spawned a badger. And an actor by the name of Trinidad Silva, who unfortunately died in 1988. He was hit by a drunk driver with his family in the car. He had starred in a movie. His last movie was UHF, Weird Al Yankovic's UHF. And he played Raul Hernandez, who you got to search for the clip. I'm not going to show it because of copyright infringement and all that other stuff. But there's a scene in there. He does a show for Weird Al Yankovic. And it's a wildlife show, an animal wildlife show. And he takes a tortoise and licks it, and he goes, a turtle is a nature's suction cup, and he throws it on the ceiling, and it sticks to the ceiling. And then he has a scene where he's teaching poodles how to fly. And then in between shows, the delivery man comes in for the animals, and he goes, oh, we have an armadillo, and we have a raccoon, and we have this animal and that animal, and we have 3 badgers. And he stops and looks at him, and he goes, badgers? Badgers? We don't need no stinking badgers. And it was a tribute back to the original film. So, yeah, on that being said, we are going to look at, oh, it started raining. Look at that. And I'll show these mods. That is so cool. Yeah, let's get back to on here. Okay, so the mod that we're looking at is called Bridges. And I had seen this mod before. It's by VRob. And I used a couple of his other mods. And I'm only going to be able to scratch the surface of what this mod can do. If you look in the back here, you see a train bridge. I don't even know what kind. I'm not even going to guess what kind of bridge that is, a trestle bridge. However, you could do like tunnels. There's corrugated steel. Here's a trestle, a red truss bridge. And which is what I built, which is very, very cool. And if you study the pictures, you can see this little lip here. And that's kind of important when you're trying to run trains on it. Here's another yellow truss bridge. Yeah, I know, I'm just reading it. Here's a double-decker bridge. This is really cool. And you can see the base here, which is really cool. I'll show how that's done. And I wanted to do one of these, an arch-type bridge. I really like these style of bridges. And here's a more elaborate truss bridge. And this reminds me of an old-time trestle bridge. Train trestle bridge. So, yeah, and here's a girder bridge, Here's a smaller girder bridge with train tracks. So I'm gonna, and you can build a suspension. You can go all out on this. And here's a couple of wooden bridges. There's a slide. This one swivels, and here's a drawbridge. What are you gonna use those for? I don't know, but they do look cool. And I did use this over in my Japanese garden. The weather pack that I'm testing right now, I had a bunch of different weather packs that I was trying. I was trying the weather mod. However, it kind of doesn't work the way I anticipated it. It works okay, but this one also has where it'll build up snow and snow drift, snow rain cloud, snow drift. This one works okay until I found out that it doesn't work with Map Gen 6. For use in all map gens except Map Gen version 6. And that's what I have. So it worked okay. However, it just kept raining and raining no matter what setting I did. But this is a very good one also. I went ultimately with Weather Pack, and this is, I believe, this is the same one used in Mineclone 2. And when I was playing Mineclone 2, I really liked the thunder and the lightning, and I liked how it rained in that. So this is the one I'm using, I'm testing right now. And I seem to have the best, luck with it. So there, that answers the question, right, Foamy? Right. That's Foamy the squirrel. So we're going to look at this bridge. I should turn the weather off. All right, here's a base. And there's a pole. There's a lot of things in this mod that you could use for other things. This is a cable and a cable top for making a suspension bridge. But I'm sure I can find lots of uses for that. This is a double support column. Here's a two single support columns. So there's a lot of cool different things here. If we look at the base of my, if we look at my base, you can see I have my concrete base. And it's really nice because this will form to what you need. So here I'm using, I'm going to turn on here. This is bridge medium support. And these have these support poles which go all the way up to my bridge. And I'm using these right and left slant steel pieces. And you can see I got that little ridge here. And this is a bridge deck. This piece here is Superstructure tall. There's also a shorter one. Oh, it stopped raining. How cool. So over here, I just have this going onto some rock. And then over here, doing the same thing just to show some supports. And then I have train tracks in the middle of it. So it's all steel, and you can see these steel tops, which are upper cord set. And I ran into a lot of problems because the train kind of if you have this sitting in, it kind of doesn't work right. You can see how this is on the other node here, and these are unobstructed. So if this was actually on here, which I made the mistake of doing, the train will only go like 4 miles an hour and not do anything. And here is a quick look at the truss with a truss bridge here. And then you can obviously put on your train track, which gives it a real cool old time look that you saw in that one picture. So how this works, and like I said, this is only going to cover very, very brief of what this mod can do. So we have different colored blocks to match our different colored structures. I use gray because I like gray the most. White is really cool. Red and green, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do stuff with here. Like here's a steel side girder end. I have mine in gray. And we have different, I want to put that here because I want to try doing something with that. Thank you. Yeah. All right. And we have our different wooden bridges. You have to really read the descriptions. Like this is steel bottom medium support. Those are really nice for creating supports underneath. We have slanted upper, and some of these will say like this is an upper chord. Here's a steel medium. There's also a steel large and a small, and those will be how wide the bridge is going to be. Go to page 2. Here's a medium upper. We have different wooden bridge parts and stairs. Small slanted upper chord in different colors. These are train decks. Here you can see here green truss end left and right. When placing these, there are different ones. And then here are truss substructures, which are really cool. Here's the wooden trusses for the old time ones. Your cable, suspension cable tops and cables. And I was kind of looking at, I have to go back to the picture to see how those cables run, because it's kind of interesting for shipbuilding. Yeah. And then so there's a lot of different substructures and superstructure. Here's a superstructure. You try saying that 5 times fast. Tall middle. So to make different things, and you could use a lot of these. Like here's the same thing I used over here, but in white. So there's a lot of different uses for these. We already saw the train track one. Like I said, here is a end. This is a, what is that? Looks like it's getting cloudy out. So here's a superstructure end, and here's a superstructure up simple steel. So you can see it goes up. And I came up with some really interesting designs. Here's this one. Because they have these decks. And I'm not sure if I could find it real quick. And I really do not want to make this like a 3-hour video. However, you know, things happen. So let's take this one out here. We already looked at that one. Because some of these will be slanted and some of these will be, they'll be slanted and they'll sit straight. So we are going to use that and try to make something real quick. I don't know if this is going to work. I haven't played with this. Okay, that does that. Because I wanted to. Let's go over here where there's nothing here. So you got these real cool girders. That don't sit right. What happened there? Oh, duh. Right and left end. You know, it does help. And I looked for, let's see. Yeah, okay. I looked for different. What am I doing wrong? Look at that. That looks really cool. That looks like one of those old time train bridges. But the tracks will go in the middle. So there's a lot of really neat things that you can do with this. As in terms of the bridge foundation, you can see there's one. And there's two. So you can see how these will automatically form a huge base. And then you can put your, do I have one here? Boy, it helps to be it helps to be what do you call that? I don't know. It helps to be set up. Okay, let me find, that's upper. Here's a, see how that lays flat like that? And there's a slanted one, which I will show as soon as I find the steel upper core. And I chose wrong again. Where is it? Steel medium support. 3. There we go. There's one support, but as you can see, I need, there we go. And it kind of, so if you're building a large bridge, you're going to have a large support. And that's how that works. But you can come over here and you can use these small supports on here to do that. And this is what I did down here when building my huge pylon for that. So it's really, it's really good looking. There's a lot of stuff that you could do with this. It took me a long time to get to what I built here, a trial and error. Because I really did want those sides. And what happens is, oh, it's a horse. What happens is, where's my medium? I also fell upon, that's an upper, because we're not gonna spend a load of time on it because I want to show some other stuff off. So we have this, we have our deck. We need the superstructure. That's small. I wanted to use a slanted. Superstructure middle is really cool, but that's not what I want. I want superstructure. That's a simple truss superstructure middle. Is that the one I think I want? Doesn't matter. This is my, oh, by the way, this is my test world. So if things aren't working as they should, as in terms of, oh yeah, that was cool. I got that running, which is the, I covered that in the last one, the, where it picks up the stuff. And so let's go here to superstructure middle and put that, there we go. That's what I had did. And it becomes part of it. And I did this by accident. It looks really cool. However, I ran into a couple problems. So it has like this bottom structure, and I'm using the deck over here. And that's how I originally did it. But the train had a problem when moving on it. So then, now you could see the thing here. This says middle. So now what we are going to do is, and placing these are kind of strange. So I'm going to use some helpers here real quick, because there's the upper. There we go. So I created this could make a real cool footbridge, or, you know, a pedestrian bridge. It's not really wide enough to be a car bridge because a car would be 3. And with that, you would use, like, this is the middle upper. So let's look for the large upper. And this is the medium. Small supports. Those are the ones on there. We are looking for the large upper. And then I'm going to demonstrate why it worked in rehearsal, but I can't find it now. Superstructure left. truss simple. Middle. Slanted. I want to show that real quick. Where is it? Steel middle. There's an upper one. There's a large one and there's a small one. So you can literally like make like a footbridge. Large red upper. Let's try that. So large red upper. Now it's starting to rain. Look at how wide that is. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that would equate one row of traffic. So you can join them to get how many wide that you want, but it's going to take trial and error to place these things. As you see, there we go. So, and you can walk on them, but you can also fall through them. So now I have 2 wide. If I was creating a very, very large wide bridge, that's how you do that. You can see here, and it's just got this cool look to it. But if you put a top on this, this is only going to be 2 wide, and the trains will have a large problem with it. So we are going to look at what I built real like quickly, and that's so cool. I cleaned up I picked up 140 pieces of meat of animals falling off the cliff here and people falling off the cliff here into the water. Yeah. Which is not cool. So we are going to look at the train. Well, real quickly, before we look at the train, we already looked at this. We already looked at the base. And like I said, watch this. This is cool. So what this is your drawbridge. You can put them down just by clicking on them. You can control. Go away. You can control them with the Misicons also. But you can play Evel Knievel with it. Watch this. And you know, the first time I tried that, I accidentally ran over the bridge and jumped, and I made it. And now what's happening is it failed. Let's try this again. Whee! There we go. You get bored, you can jump over the bridge. There, I did it. But that bridge is really cool. So you could have like a little river waterway, and when a boat's not going through, a rowboat or something, you could have the bridge down and then have the bridge up. And you can hear that underwater sound. The ambience theme that I'm testing is working. So that's how that works. Where did my other side go? Not cool. That's a drawbridge. Oh, the swivel bridge. Real quickly. And small beam bridge. I must have killed my beam bridge. That'll work. The swivel bridge is similar. So what happens is when you click on it, it turns. So you may have an area where you are going to need. You might have an area where you have a boat go through this way. I've seen bridges like that. I've just never really, I've seen them in a lot larger way. Cool. And I built this area up, which is really cool. So I'm planning on putting this in my real world because you can see it's off of the houses here up by the farm. So let's go on the bridge. It's just got an excellent look to it. And you could build something similar to this out of just using default blocks, but it's not going to give you the same amount of detail. And it still has the blockiness to it that it looks like something that would be native in a Minetest world. So here's my train, and you can see the collision box on the train. So if anything's in this node here or here, it'll... Wow. Oh, that's so cool. I haven't seen any lightning yet. And I haven't played with the lightning parameters. So we're going. So as you can see, my speed, I'm doing 15 knots. 15 kilometers per hour. And we are moving. There's a couple different trains in advanced trains that you could use that you could really do some kind of sightseeing with on these tracks. And we're going to have a problem when we come to this block right here. It'll motor through it on here, but if I'm stopped, it will not. And, oh, it let me through. And it stops. Sometimes that slanted... So sometimes this slanted block will give an issue. I'm going to have to turn the weather off. So you can see the slanted block. And there's different slants and there's different widths on the slants. So let me... weather underscore manager. We're going to say rain. That didn't work. That's because I'm in rain. Let's try none. I can't remember all the... Well, it worked in... let's try light rain. It says it's taking it. But... Yep, everything is a... Okay, we're at the end here. Let's go in reverse. And... Come on, reverse. And let's go backwards. This is kind of cool. So, I really, really like this Bridges mod. I barely touched I barely scratched the surface of what this mod can do. Now, watch this. Let me off. Oh, come on. It won't let... Really? Oh, wait a minute. Doors are... Okay, I closed the doors. Oh, come on. Let me off. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to... It won't let me off. Oh, my God. Use sneak right-click to ignore close. Okay. Get off forced. My train is hovering. Oh, all that just to show you my train is hovering. Oh, I quit. Now it won't let me back on. Use sneak. There we go. We're going to go forward. Oh, boy. Let's see if I can pick up that piece of meat. There we go. I'm back on the tracks. Yep, I got it. Blew out the microphone there, but, you know. Oh. I really, really like this mod. My goal right now with the world is I've played enough with different mods, as in terms of, you know, like the animal mods and adding functionality in different blocks. Now let's see if it'll... Doors closed. I don't know what happened that it will not let... It will not let... Oh. Oh, the door... That was my fault, peoples. the doors were closed, and you can't get off when the doors are closed. So hopefully this will spark some inspiration of getting into this bridges mod. It's a little, I'll be honest with you, I love this mod. It's a little frustrating, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty awesome. I'm having a lot of fun with it, as you can see here. It's a realistic looking mod. If you're going to use World Edit with it and try to like set up, you know, stack it, a little trick is when you go in, because this is 2 nodes wide, it's good to click there and then use POS1 and do the whole thing, and then so it encompasses everything that you want in there. And then we're going to stack it. Let's just stack it, I don't know, 10, just for cool. There it goes. Look at that. If you don't do this, you'll see that this gets split in half because these can overlay, and it gives you this real strange, weird effect. But other than that, that's the only trick. You're going to want to encapsulate both those nodes. And as you can see, let me clear that real quick. As you can see, it's really cool. You can create some really, really great things with this. And a diving board. So look at all the garbage and debris. You know, this world is not very eco-friendly, because when they die, they just keep littering. Look at all the garbage over here. That's not right. You guys need to learn how to throw your trash away. So that is, I love this. It's the simple things in life that make me that make me happy. So and one of the reasons why I wanted to do a bridge over here is because if you look over here, there's the seaside house, and it's only right now accessible by helicopter, which is up here. The heliport is up here, and over here, over here is where that tunnel is, and some stairs going up. So, oh, it's starting to clear up. How nice. Right as I'm finishing the video, it's starting to clear up. So that's a very, and I did not do this mod justice, but that's a very, very brief look at the bridges mod. I highly suggest that you download it and play with it, and you're going to be able to build some really, really cool things with it. Let's see if I can get out of here. And as you noticed, here's these supports here. Now, why didn't that work the way I planned it? You could use this stuff in other things. Can somebody say sign poles for creating a sign? Because these do sit real nicely. So you just have to use your imagination, and in using said imagination, we can create a real cool sign or platform or what, you know, just because a mod, look at that. So we can actually create a billboard. Okay, that's just the first draft, but you get the idea. And be able to do a billboard on something like that, make it thinner or whatever. So that's it. That's going to, and now we're back in nice sunshine. Yeah. So that's a look at what I'm doing with the bridges mod and the ambience. You could hear the ambience, the sounds in the background, and you can hear the weather mod, which now it's nice and sunny. So yeah, hopefully this has been useful. And if you have any tips or tricks on using this mod, please leave them in the comments for everybody to see, because that just helps everybody else out. And I'm going to be covering more of this in the future, but that's a very basic look at, it's a very, very, very basic look at the bridges mod. So, yeah, it's going to be storming out here in Chicago. So thank you very much for joining. Until the next video, everybody stay nice, safe, warm, and dry. And goodbye.